Alright guys, so today I'm going to show you how to write a strong informational paragraph. We're going to be expecting you guys to write 5 of these per week, so we really want to see some really strong, good writing out there, right guys? So before we start, you should make sure you read over the directions for how we expect to see the paragraph, okay? It's the same for each day. You're going to be writing one paragraph, which is 5 to 6 sentences, about today's article. Remember to include a hook, your main idea, strong transitions, and interesting facts and details, and a concluding sentence that's positive and explains why the topic is important. Okay? So that's a lot for you to do in one paragraph. You have 5, 6 sentences for that. Okay? We're not looking for a whole essay, but we're also not looking for just 2 or 3 sentences. You guys are sixth graders. We expect a lot more from you. Okay? For those of you who are deciding to do this on a computer, if you have a computer or a tablet with a large keyboard, you can definitely do it online and send it all to me and I can grade it for you. If you're doing paper and pencil, that works just as well too. For those of you doing computer, you can just type in the shortcut docs.new. You know I like to be lazy, so there's a shortcut right there. And then it creates a new document for you. The title, make sure you title it. I would call it like week one paragraphs and then your name or something, okay? So that you can type in all 5 of your paragraphs on one document and turn it all into me and I can grade it for you all together, okay? So our first article on Monday, so this is Monday's article, hopefully you've already done it. Monday's article is about flattening the curve and closing down schools and closing down everything to flatten the curve. So my paragraph is going to be about that. My main idea is flattening the curve, something about flattening the curve and stopping the spread of the coronavirus, okay? Now, the first thing you want to start with when you write a informational paragraph is to start with a hook. A hook is something that captures your reader's attention, something like an interesting fact or a shocking detail or a question. I like to personally start with a question because it sounds like I'm talking to my reader. So I'll start with this question. Wonder why everything around you is being shut down? And then I want to answer it. Everything is closing down in order to flatten. I'm putting this in quotation marks because it's a technical term that we haven't defined yet. We haven't explained what it means yet. And so I'm gonna explain in the next sentence. So everything is closing down in order to flatten the curve, which means, so I'm gonna explain it right now, which means to stop the spread of the coronavirus. Okay? So this is my main idea right here. This sentence right here is my main idea. Okay? Now, I'll put that in green. You don't need to color code yours. I'm just doing it so that we can talk about it. So everything I write next has to talk about my main idea, which is everything is closing down in order to flatten the curve, which means to stop the spread of the coronavirus. So I'm going to find an example from the article, and I know of 2 examples. One, schools are shutting down, and another one, sporting events are being closed down. Okay. Now before you start, if you're in my class and you know about RACE, R-A-C-E, RACE stands for R, stands for restate, A stands for answer, C stands for cite, and E stands for explain. And this is a way for you to fully and completely answer a question and to get maximum points on an assignment like this. Okay, so let's do race. Okay, so one example I want to use, let's start with school. Since you're all in school and you all know schools are canceled, we'll say, for instance, let me choose a different color for my first example. I'll go yellow. So, for instance, schools all across the country are shut down. Okay? So that is my restate and answer, but I haven't cited yet. So let me see where I can put. Oh, by the way, all of your information comes from one place, Newsella. So you're all gonna write this according to Newsella. Yeah, it's gonna get kind of boring to say that. There are different ways to say it, but that's probably the easiest way right now. So for instance, let's put it right here after the word for instance. So for instance, according to News, I should capitalize that because it's the name of an organization. According to Newsella, schools all across the country are shut down or being shut down. Okay? And then now I have to explain it. The explanation is the hardest part because this is where you have to draw a conclusion based on the detail that you decided to write. So, for instance, according to Newsella, schools all across the country are being shut down, and you have to answer the question in your head. You have to answer this question like, why are they being shut down? Oh, okay, so they're being shut down to keep kids, teachers, and staff away from each other to flatten the curve. Okay? So there's my explanation right there. So you have to explain. So wait, why are they all being shut down? So that's where you have to come in with your own thoughts right there. Okay? So that's one sentence, two sentences, three. So that's four sentences. So I'm not quite at six sentences yet. So I'm definitely gonna need one more detail or one more fact from the article. So I'm gonna use a sporting events one. Let's change the color. I'll use a sky blue. So I'm gonna use a different transition. Instead of saying for instance again, you can say for example. You can say another example of how. Let's say another example according to Newsella is that sporting events are being canceled. Now I'm going to explain it. This is because, you know what, let me add the word also because this is going to be the similar explanation as for why schools are being closed. This is also because um, the government wants to keep people from going to crowded places and spreading the virus. How many times have I said spreading? You know what? I've said it twice already, so I'm going to underline it. At the end of this, I'm going to look up different ways to say spreading, okay? And I'm going to show you guys how to do that too, because I want to get as many points as possible. So right now I'm at 6 sentences, and I'm not even done yet. I still need a concluding sentence, okay? And your concluding sentence has to be something positive, something that motivates or inspires your reader to go out there and do something, all right? So let's say something like, oh, and you also have to restate your main idea in there too. So yeah, concluding sentence has a lot to do, okay? So my main idea is everything is closing down to in order to flatten the curve, which means to stop the spread of the coronavirus. So let me inspire my reader. Let me inspire you guys, all right? All right. So pretend like I'm talking to you guys, okay? If you all listen and stay inside and away from crowded places, you too can help defeat the monster known as the coronavirus and end this horrible, terrible, tragic nightmare. Okay, so maybe I went a little overboard there, but you can see that's an example of a concluding sentence. Okay, so this right here will probably get a 3 or a 4 if it were worth 4 points. If you're looking for even more points, you can use higher level transition words from this document right here, which I shared with you guys. If you use words like although or even though or on one hand, on the other hand, oh, those are some really good ones. Or furthermore, there's so many different ones. Like I use for example, I use for instance. These are these are kind of basic, right? You want to go a little bit extra on this. So if you want to get more points, you want to go a little bit more beyond that. And then I mentioned before that I don't like using the same word twice, so I'm going to go to source.com, and instead of saying spread, I'm going to find a different way to say spread. Ooh, increase, transmit. Ooh, okay, let's see that. Maybe transmit. So, where did I put that? This is also, and transmitting. Oh, there we go. Instead of saying spreading, I'm going to say transmitting the virus. So that's a quick way of getting some bonus points. Instead of saying spread too many times, I'm changing my word choice and I'm making it feel a little bit more advanced. Okay, so this is about what I expect to see from you guys each and every day. I know it's a lot, but you guys can totally do it. As always, if you need any help, you know how to contact me. And good luck.